Good evening, people. Welcome to Reaching Out with Eddie. Well, folks, Lolo is not here, but the Dice seemed to want to present his case today. Actually, he didn't want to, folks. Uh, uh, Dice, you just can't keep running. Dice been running and ducking, but today he can't duck any further. So, yeah. Oh, Dice got signs. He got a little cards. He got a little joke in on me just then. Talking about, yeah. How's everybody doing? I hope everybody have a safe weekend. We're going to kind of like do a recap. Just talk about some of the things that did happen. Want to point out that you remember the mothers that was here. I think it was Yolanda Easley, Miss Dean was here, and of course another child's mother was inside, but she didn't come inside. My kid was in the other room. If you notice that, I think it was somewhere a time in November. I don't know when it was, but of course I have a video. We have videos and things. I think I'm gonna wait until Lolo is here, which will be Tuesday, and she would have been here tonight, but man, she was ready too. I mean, she had a big old hypodermic needle ready to draw blood from Dice. See, I'm be. There you go again with the yeah. I can't do this because he'll have me laughing all night. The Dice man came ready. Lo, you better be glad you ain't here. The Dice man, we partialed each other. He would have drew blood from you. I don't know, Lo. Lo said she ain't going. Hey, Dicey, how about turning the phone lines on so that if people want to come in they can go ahead on and call in now if they have something to say. We like to, when you call in, the number to call in is 601. I guess Dice flashing that number in. But I wanted to talk about, we call him Sean Pruitt, his son, Gregory. His name is Gregory Sean Pruitt. His son, Jatarius Easley, Dericcus Dean, Dericcus Graham. Also, just had a little distraction because the children are here now. But anyway, they were charged. They were charged initially with capital murder, and the charge was dropped down to murder. I want to point out this observation here. How is it that a charge going to drop down from capital murder to murder? See, we can't just charge our children and just throw the books at them. That's what's going on here. And, of course, Anderson, who has COVID, was in the courtroom today. See how this rascal would come to a courtroom even he's sick at the risk of giving everybody else in there COVID. He came in and presented a case, which really wasn't a case. What Anderson said about the video that the parents talked about that's out in Western God, he said that the video, he went and looked at it, the video was blurry. Well, one of the things that the Dice man pointed out is that works both ways. If it's too blurred for you to see that it is them, it's also too blurred for you to see that it is not them. So it doesn't, if you couldn't see who it is, how is it that you're charging these four young men? How is it that it goes from capital murder down to murder? See, folks, I smell a rat. And the reason why I smell a rat, and here's what we got going on with this administration. Again, I'm going to continue to beat up on this administration. Well, not really. I'm going to continue to disclose the wrongdoing that this administration is doing. I'm not going to beat up on the administration. It kind of seems like it because Lolo, when she was here, she said it is what it is. But I want to point out that these guys' charge was dropped down to murder. You hear that too, Bell? Went from capital murder to murder. Now, you understand, capital murder is when you commit, in the commission of another crime, you kill the person, such as you rape and rob, such as you, rape and murder. You rob and murder. You burglarize the house and you murder. You understand? It's got to be in the commission of something that you acted upon that person twice. So if they didn't do it then, why was they charged with capital murder initially? And how is it that, I got to ask you this, Rochester Anderson, if the video is too blurred for you to see that it's not them, how is it that you can identify that it is them? See, that's a two-sided sword, and it should work. And another thing too, the other two guys, they were charged with reduced, and these were the initial people that was charged, the Moffitt brothers. That's Bondarius and Desjuan Moffitt was charged. They charge was dropped down to just shooting, doing a drive-by shooting. And the bad thing in that is that you're being charged. Anytime you do drive-bys, there's no parole on that. So it's day for day. So I don't know whether that's a good thing, but if you get charged with just regular murder, you can't make parole on that. But of course, if you get charged with capital murder, then you either facing the death penalty or can be charged with life without parole. What really piqued me off, what really makes me angry about all of this, is that you have a chief of police that's going around giving toys to our children. At the same time that he's giving toys to our children, he has his police department going out arresting other black children and charging them for crimes that they have not committed or crimes that they don't have any evidence that they committed. We got to get away from that, people. So, Chris Reed, while you going out there politicking, we got a call in, Dyson. We'll take that call out and notate where I am. Go ahead, caller.
What up, Gray?
Hey.
Dice. Yeah. I see you, Dice. I see you. You just wait until Tuesday. Wait until Tuesday. I'm going to turn your smile into tears. But let me tell you something, Ed Hope.
Many people that heard this before, right?
The two people that they arrested first for the murder in Carousel, they was charged with aggravated assault and drive-by shooting. The other one that Rochester from the Region Police Department ran the story with WTOK on November 24th, they was wanted for capital murder. Now, hear me out what I'm about to say. Capital murder. You explained what capital murder is already. Okay? When Chuck Mercy was killed over there by Magnolia, Rochester Anderson told the family of the victim that the suspect couldn't be charged with capital murder. But yet, you put a bolo out for 4 individuals for capital murder without a shred of proof, only hearsay. So what's the difference in these 4 guys that were facing capital murder? It would reduce the day to murder to Rochester telling the Mercy and Ball family that the person who killed their loved one couldn't be charged with capital murder. What's the difference?
Here's the thing. It's showing that they have favoritism. They have a different set of laws and a different set of rules. They got one set of rules and laws for everybody else, and then they got a set of rules and laws that's for people that's in their group, such as LaToya Brown and her family, or the twin and his family, a person, all his cronies, because I was told that LaToya Brown's son was one of the suspects, and Rochester Anderson allegedly went to Walmart and said he saw where he was at Walmart, and you know I don't believe that. I don't believe that at all. And so they let him go. And so, but now they got a picture, they say it's fuzzy, that they can't see. Then why are you charging anyone? And then also, the Mercer kid, Chuck Mercer, was robbed and murdered. And then they drove him away from the scene. They took his car. If they move his car from where he took it at, then that's auto theft. They had his child in the car. So then they took his child. That's kidnapped. So they committed multiple crimes. So those girls, they should initially been charged with capital murder.
And then you know what? He gonna say that he can prove capital murder in the Mercy case because he don't know whether or not Chuck was robbed. But yet you don't know. But this child that was killed down in the Carousel, he wasn't robbed neither. But you had warrants out for 4 individuals for capital murder. Capital murder is when you commit a felony in the process of killing someone with another felony. Got to be 2 felonies, like robbing somebody and killing them. That's right. Capital murder.
And I gotta say
breaking somebody's house and killing them, that's capital murder.
That's right.
So I just don't understand why Chester Anderson, he wants so bad to have the individual in jail that he risked other people's lives today because I was told that he had COVID.
Yeah, and that's really bad. And I tell you something else too. Robert Jones now, you understand Robert Jones, Rochester Anderson present his case to the judge. The judge is supposed to be an impartial arbiter that sits up there and supposed to be blind and supposed to wield the law unilaterally, fairly toward everybody. But Robert Jones does not do that. He does whatever a person tell him to do. He does obviously whatever Rochester Jones tell him to do. Whoever they want to be in jail, they have high bond, no bond, and they charge, and that's really, really bad. But low, it's going to be an accountability, and I'm going to tell you how and why. Because we're going to remove this governing authority. Folks, I need for you to tell everybody, hey, let's register to vote. We're going to vote coming May. We getting them up out of there, and then we can put Rochester Anderson in jail. Because if Rochester Anderson lied about going to Walmart, and Walmart keep their record, the Walton is not going to lose money for Leo B. to Rochester Anderson. If he lied about that, that's obstruction of justice, and we're going to put his ass in jail. I promise you, folks. And Go ahead, Law.
Let me say this, Eddie Hope. Let me say this before I hang up. Like you said, Rochester Anderson claimed that he went to Walmart and viewed the cameras. Okay, why couldn't he go out there in Western Garden to view the camera? From what I was told, the camera was viewed and the video was blurry. Okay, if it was blurry, like you said, how you gonna charge someone with murder? You don't see their face.
That's
you
right.
Can't tell who it is. You only going by word of mouth. But let me say this before I hang up: the young male that was killed, I didn't know him, but I know his mother. I'm just like you. I'm on the right side of the law.
That's right.
I believe whoever done the crime, who committed the crime, they need to face the music.
That's
Their
right.
ass need to be locked up. But you don't lock up innocent goddamn people to try to make your mayor look good, Rochester Anderson. You don't do that. Now, there was a lady that was doing the video the day that child was killed down there on November 24th in the carousel.
Mm-hmm.
In the video, this lady is saying this child was shot from inside of the car, said she believed that they robbed them and took off running. So, I don't know, when the individual went out there in Western Garden and shot the people, they must have got spooked when they saw a car coming their way and just assumed there was somebody coming back to retaliate and fired a shot and accidentally shot the partner.
Yeah, and all that. So, but that's what good police work come in. And thanks for calling in, Lo. And
All right.
And folks, that's what good police work come in at. And Percy, you're not making yourself looking good by charging people that should not be charged. You're making yourself look bad. Dice Man, you got to go for a break for a minute. I got to go out here and address this. Folks, we're going to address it. I got some things that I need to address outside there, and then we're going to come back. You ready, Dice Man? Take me to break. Thank you. Welcome back, and thank you for calling in, Lo. And any of you out there want to call in, do call in. And I got to talk about the toys. One of the things they love to do is they're giving our children toys now. I got to say this, Chris Reed. Our children don't have anywhere to go. And Percy, I'm going to say this to you. I know you're watching. Percy, what about Arthur, my son-in-law? Yes, Arthur Harris, John Harris' son, who's the director of the Velma Young Center. How is it that he went and talked to your Parks and Rec director, Trent Posey, and it's okay for me to start teaching karate? They're free, folks. You understand? I was not going to charge. I was going to do this as a way of giving our children something to do. Suppose it had started November the 1st. It's not Arthur's fault. It's not Trent Posey's fault. It's Percy Bland's fault. He was not going to do that. So, Chris Reed, you care about our children. Percy, you care about our children. It does not seem like you say one thing, we're going to judge you by what you're doing, and you're not doing anything for this community, you're not doing anything for our children. Because it's December. It's past December the 1st, and they're still not teaching karate. I want to say this, just pause. Today is December the 10th. This is the day of my Uncle Arthur's birthday. Had he lived, he would have been 89 years old. And so I want to say, again, condolences to my family. But I want to deviate, again, go to Chris Reed. I mean, folks, you see him everywhere smiling like he care about you. You understand that he's the same one that beat the hell out of Levi Gibbs. How you going to care about our children if you don't care about our parents and our fathers and everybody else? You're the same chief of police who two of your police officers killed Davon Harden. I don't care what you say. He hadn't been cremated yet, folks, and the family's still trying to raise that money. So we still might be calling on you. Look, they'll take anything. They'll take $5, $1, anything. Anything you can send or give to this family. Understand what we'll do if we raise money and we don't get this autopsy or whatever, and the family can, we'll hold him out a year, Chris Reed. You hear that? You, Alex Lee, and Matthew Spears, those are the two ones that fit the description of the individuals that killed that man. They killed that young man. It's a rat somewhere and it stinks like hell because you got a person that's dead and they didn't give an autopsy to him. You got a person that's dead and you can see the bruises on his body. You have a person that's dead and little bitty, the same little bitty short person, Rochester Anderson. Do you understand abuse of authority under color state law? I know because you think you wearing the badge and the gun. Now you're not afraid that you can go to jail. You better Google and see how many police officers, how many judges. Yeah, Robert Jones, how many judges and how many governors and mayors have went to jail for abusing their authority and for doing things. This is obstruction of justice, Rochester Anderson. You killed that young man. Y'all killed that young man, Rochester Anderson, and you helped covering it up. Where are the pictures? Where are the crime scene photos? There's no statute of limitation in the state of Mississippi on this. We gonna work hard as hell to get y'all up out of there. Kim Bernie Houston, you are a disgrace. You are too, Fannie Mae Johnson. You are too, Dwayne Davis. You ain't that smart, but you still a disgrace. George Thomas just doing what he was brought up and taught to do by his parents. He promoting his own kind, and he don't give a damn about any other kind but his kind. Now, ain't nothing wrong with what he's doing. It's illegal as hell that he's violating his oath of office, but that's not what he pledged to do. That's not what he swore to do. Now, Dice, I'm finna get on you. You ain't got away. Don't let me calm down a little bit, because I don't want to take the Dice man head off. Don't put no yeah up. Dice man. Now, you got to come on here and tell us why you voted for. You said, this is what you said now. You said that they made Donald Trump the boogeyman. That's one of the things you do. Another thing you said something about he talking about cleaning out the swamp. Okay, so now I want to ask you now, another thing you said that we got to stop looking at the news media such as CNN, such as MSNBC, MSN, or Yahoo News, Google News. We got to go to places like NTD and Newsweek to get the real story and the right story.
Well, you're not saying all of that, right?
Well, okay, too bad. He ain't gonna let me. I'll tell it like I tell it, but you're right. Okay, well, go ahead. I ain't gonna tell my story, but what is it that I did not say? I know you basically said that, but what is it that I did not say?
I say you need to stay in a neutral, unbiased way of thinking so that you can decipher information. It doesn't matter where you get it from, as long as you get it right. So and you do that by comparing the information and see who's telling you what. And then you go back and you check for yourself. Now, they know most people are lazy. They're not going to do that. So, therefore, they just feed the American people what they feed them. And we just happen to get caught up in that because, I have to say, we're kind of lazy with information.
So, and you did say that. That's the part I did not say. And I agree with that. You don't get no argument. You don't get an argument from me now, folks. But, again, what you're suggesting is that when you went to NTD, the New Tang Dynasty, and when you went to Newsweek, that once you verified those, that they were more inclined to be truthful than the other ones.
Right. With this election information, for instance, most people didn't know that they had hearings and all these type of things going on behind the scenes as far as the election. But the mainstream media has people thinking that Joe Biden is the president-elect, blah, blah, blah. He will be Monday if the Electoral College decides that. But other than that, he hasn't been president-elect nothing. But it feels good to the people to say that because that's their man.
Now I'm going to rebut what you said.
Go ahead.
See, now, folks, I did what the Dice Man said. The Dice Man told me to go and look at other news sources and see what they say. Well, I went to DW. That's Deutsches Welle. That stands for German Wave. I went to the German newspaper. Was the irony in this, folks, and y'all Google this because it's too much information for me to bring and talk to you about it. Now, and the Guardian, which is the United Kingdom, England. That's their newspaper. Also, the BBC. I went to them also. Guess what else I went to, folks? I went to Al Jazeera. Al Jazeera, that's the Middle Eastern news. You know they don't care much for the United States. Folks, all of them had one thing in common. Said the same exact thing CNN said, MSN said, MSNBC. And I'm finna read some up to you. Al Jazeera said, Texas does not have a standing. See, this Texas AG filed a lawsuit against Pennsylvania, Georgia, Wisconsin, and Michigan. And this is what Al Jazeera said. This is Qatari state-owned news channel. Texas does not have a standing because it does not have a say-so over how other states choose their electors. That's what they said. Now, these people here they don't care much for the United States. And it said out of 50 lawsuits filed by the Trump administration, more than 35 have been dismissed. Same thing saying on CNN. Hold up. Not only that, the Supreme Court refused to entertain the idea that Pennsylvania's certification should be overturned. And then how about BBC? BBC is the British Broadcasting Corporation. Biden 306, Donald Trump 232. See, that delineates what the Dice Man said. See, the Dice Man went to too conservative. I'm talking about far east. Let's talk about the New Tang Dynasty has their own. I mean, I'm talking about they are so radical with their news that they won't even present facts. They promote conspiracies. And this is what I Google and you out there can Google. So again, it's good to have an open mind, but when you have an open mind, you can't narrow it down to just one or two sources. You got to go out and look at everything. So what I did, I didn't go to CNN to get this. I went to other news corporation and got that. How about another thing? Now, you know Israel loves the United States and the United States loves Israel. How about the Jerusalem Post? How about Haaretz? I guess I'm saying it right. Their news said the same thing. And how about the Democratic majority for Israel? They're backing Warnock for the Senate, who is a Democrat. This is out of Israel, folks. I didn't get this out of a United States news media anywhere, Dice Man. I got it from them. And how about go to factcheck.com? I want you to do it. And NTD, that's the New Tang Dynasty, what Dice talking about. They own the Epoch Times. This here is a far right. They're the ones that own NTD. They promote conspiracy theories and all the things. And I want you guys to go to the factcheck.org. It's an organization, it's nonprofit. And how about, I'm going to go back and talk about these others that are owned by the people and doesn't have any inclination. The people own it. They get their money, the factcheck.org get their money from people such as you that will donate to them, from anyone. And I promise you, folks, they just, everything that you said, but they did. The judges looked at everything the Dice Man said. But Donald Trump said if you had 981 that wasn't signed or needed, but Donald Trump didn't want you to just throw out those 981. They wanted them to throw out, say, another 3,000 or 4,000, and the judges refused to do that. These here are conservative judges, of most of them, the 3 Supreme Court justices, what Donald Trump expected and did not get. He expected those 3 judges that he appointed to do his bidding like Barr did. Even Barr, his own attorney general, said there's no election fraud anywhere. So we can believe what the Dice Man and those 2 news medias and what his name, BMAC, Mississippi BMAC, and what's the other, Dixie Flag. You can believe what they say, or you can believe what all these others say. And guess what DeMarcus say? That the majority is right.
Okay, that was great. Now, as far as that goes, okay, you pick whatever news channel you want. I got the evidence. Doesn't matter if the court system does the right thing or not, because we can't be there to make them do it. But when you see the evidence of the fraud, then you know it's fraud. My problem with it is what I told you about last week. If we let this slide, and obviously it looked like it might slide a little bit. If we let this slide, it's going to come back to bite us later on, because what we're essentially saying is, doesn't matter about being fair. Anybody can do whatever they want to do as long as our man wins. So we're going to pay for that later on. It's coming.
Well, I wanna say this, is that, again, I don't agree with what you're saying, because I've got it right here too. See, I just went and picked 3 things, folks. This here is the facts on Trump's post-election legal challenges. And this here is what he did. Donald J. Trump for President Incorporated versus Bucks County Board of Election. This is in Pennsylvania. Outcome denied by the Bucks County Court of Common Pleas. Upheld by Commonwealth Court. Fact, the Bucks County Board rejected 918 ballots as legally insufficient because of such deficiency as a lack of signature or a lack of privacy envelope. As Bucks County Court of Common Pleas Judge Robert Baldy wrote in his order, the Trump campaign sought to toss out an additional 2,177 legal votes.
You want to get this?
Yes, we're going to get this. Okay, go ahead. Take that call. Okay, caller, go ahead. Caller, you're here on the podcast with the Dice Man and Eddie.
Hello.
Hello.
This is Eddie Lee, and I'm calling from Atlanta, Georgia, but I'm from Meridian.
Hey, thank you for listening and thank you for subscribing.
Good. I'm glad. I just want to thank you all for what you're doing, and I'm listening right now, and I don't agree with the, is it Iceman?
Dice Man.
Dice man.
Iceman, I'm sorry. I don't agree with it because when you look at it, because I try to keep up with everything that's going on, I even try to keep up with everything that's going on back home. If everybody is talking about the fraud, this is my question. Why is Donald Trump and his administration being allowed to even file these bogus charges? And if they're not bogus, like you said, and actual fraud that was done, why are we not seeing the evidence in black and white? You said that there's documentation or there's evidence that it was fraud. Why have no one showed us in black and white? They're all telling you talk about the media. A lot of times I don't listen to the media because they give too much false information. One channel will say this, one will say that. But then when you come to
let me answer that one piece at a time so we don't get away from it.
Okay.
The reason why I say I'm sorry, you were asking about why nobody is seeing it and knowing it. Why haven't any of the documentation of the fraud that's supposed to have been taking place in those 4 states, why have we not saw any evidence of it? Why can you say in the media, and you're right, it's different things on different points in the media. There's different sites and this and saying that. But nobody has shown any evidence, actual physical evidence, that there was any fraud taking place. Just verbally saying it, show it to us in black and white. You said that you had. Okay, don't go too far. I want to answer that for you.
Okay.
There is evidence in black and white.
Let me answer that.
I don't want you to cut it off yet.
Okay.
Hold on.
Yeah.
There is evidence in black and white. It's in video. I have it. I'll pull it up in a few minutes and show you. Now, your first question you were asking about, you don't understand why they're allowing him to do this and blah, blah, blah. You have to understand. Right, but you have to understand that's something you don't ever want to stop with anybody, because if they can stop him from appealing something that he feels is not right with what happened to him, they can do that to you. So you never want anybody's right to be taken away. You understand?
That's right.
That? So we can't say nothing about a man fighting because he feels like something was wrong or he has evidence that something wrong happened. We have to allow that process to take its course.
Okay, now let me come in here. Here's what I like to say: the evidence that they have, and what's your name again?
Oh, Addie Lee.
Miss Lee. Another thing that they show the evidence. The evidence they show is they playing with you, such as the red wagon. I seen that video where the lady got on the news and said that they were pulling ballots in to be counted, but when they looked at it, the red wagon did not have ballots at all, and they had a fail-safe system that it could not happen. But let's go back to this evidence that they have. They had 918 ballots that was legally insufficient. This is the evidence that Donald Trump would look at it, but Donald Trump not only wanted those 918 ballots thrown out, he wanted an additional 2,177 absentee ballots thrown out that were legal. And that's the problem that the Trump administration been running into. They'll show a little evidence or no evidence or flimsy evidence. What the Dice Man got is probably maybe this evidence. But the whole story is that the judge have to, hey, they've already thrown that out. But we're not going to throw the election because you're showing where they did not accept them. And here we talking about Joe Biden won by 7 million votes. We're not talking about this is, and then when you start talking about we gotta let this thing play out, they're filing frivolous lawsuit under normal circumstances. The lawyer would have already been sanctioned. You cannot file a frivolous lawsuit without evidence. I have other things here. Donald J. Trump versus Philadelphia Board of Electors. 5 cases were denied by Philadelphia Court of Common Pleas. All 5 decisions were affirmed by the Pennsylvania Supreme Court. Fact, the Trump campaign filed 5 appeals seeking to toss out more than 8,000 absentee and mail-in ballots, were all signed by the voters on ballots out of envelope, but didn't have one or more of the following on the envelope: their printed name, their address, or date. One or more. Most of them, 4,466 ballots, had a signature and date, but were missing a hand printed name and address. Because if it has my signature, because I didn't put my name on there, you want me? They gonna throw it out. They gonna have to count it anyway, because you cannot.
they're supposed to match.
There's
those
no way
signatures.
you're going to know that.
Once they
Hold
throw
up,
the envelope
that's
away,
not,
you're right.
That's not what I said. I didn't say anything about match signature.
No, you did.
I know.
I'm saying it.
Yeah, but you giving me a different argument. My argument, we talking about what the Donald Trump doing and what's been done, and the things Donald Trump talk about ain't what's going on. The man is a liar. All he's done, I mean, you said they made him the boogeyman. Well, I went to all these other sites and they're in Israel, and they love Donald Trump. They
I'm
made
gonna
him
show
the
you how they made
boogeyman.
him the boogeyman before we get off the show today.
But
Let
how
me
about?
say this to you, Mr. Dice Man, about the appeal. Maybe you misunderstood me about the appeal.
Okay.
I may have said it wrong. I'm not saying that he should not have been allowed to appeal. What I'm saying, he should not be allowed to continue this cycle on and on, the recounts that they had to take place. And I'm going to tell you something like this. My kids have always voted. I left Meridian 4 years ago. They were not old enough to vote there. Well, once we got to Georgia, we became registered voters. We've always voted. But let me tell you this. A lot of the people that voted this time were people that had records. They had told felons they could not vote. So somebody looked up and put it out there to them. I know Lolo was one of Meridian. And here in Georgia, some people posted and said, you can still vote. So you take this younger generation. They are tired of the stuff that they're hearing. They're tired of their grandmothers and stuff they had to take to the doctor. And they tell them they can't get this when they take them to the drugstore because of the Trump administration. Because of the laws and stuff that he enforced. So these younger people, they got out and voted, and I'm glad they did. I'm not saying anything about his appeal. It's the fact that it's a repeat. You're asking the repeat sector, and who's paying for all this?
How about we just give Dice Man his day? Dice, let's just say everything you're saying is correct. And how about we say that everything you're saying is correct, Dice? And so, but I want you to pull up the video that Lolo sent today. Lolo sent a video today.
I'll do that, but let me answer her so we don't hold her up on the phone. Let me say this to you, baby, unless you got something else that you want to come back and say.
I'm listening.
When you look at the news, you're not going to get all of it. Are you aware that they had the hearings and you had hundreds of people who testified and signed affidavits about what took place during the days that they voted?
So where did you get that from?
That's what I want to say, because that's not true.
Okay.
That's some more Donald Trump lies.
Let me answer her. Don't cut that off. Look, I have that information and I'll show it to you live. See, the good thing I love
You realize that you got it from, where you get it from? You
finish.
got it from ENTD and Newsweek.
Again, are we talking about the information, or you want to cherry pick
We're
who
talking
you're
about
getting it
the
from?
information.
Okay, then. So
Yeah,
let me finish.
but we
Let me
can go
finish.
get thousands. You got one. We can go
Wait a
get
minute.
thousands where it's not true.
You're trying to confuse the issue. Now, I know that. Listen,
No,
if
you're
I
trying to
have
give me
if
the
I
double
have if I
standard.
have that proof for you, will you accept it?
No, I
That's
will.
all I'm saying.
Here's what I'm gonna say to
I'm
you.
going to tell you like this. I'm not going to tell you, and I hadn't seen it, that I'm going to accept it, because I'm the type of person I like to do my own background work.
That's
but
right.
I do want to tell you this, and I know y'all got to finish the show. One thing for sure is it sounds like to me, and tell me if I'm wrong, I can take when I'm wrong, that you're using double standards. You're telling us about believing what the media said, but that's where you got your information
Now
from.
she got that's
Okay,
kudos
now,
there.
that sounds good. The way you just said it, it sounds good for Eddie to say that's good information. But that's not true. Because anything that I'm telling you, I'm going to show you.
But Dice, you only got
I'm fixing it. Y'all keep running from the show.
Okay, let me say this before and thank you for calling in.
Thank you, Mr.
Colin. Here's what I want. Here's what I want to say, is that Donald Trump has already killed one black man, and he's getting ready to kill 5 more. Now that's what I'm looking at. I'm looking at I don't care about any of that stuff. They wasn't killing nobody. They got way more folks on death row than these black people that they getting ready to kill, and everybody's saying they shouldn't kill them. And so we don't have to play this dice, but I'm looking at that dice. I cannot I cannot promote anyone's agenda. I don't care if Biden stole the election, I helped him stole it because I sure voted for him. But the thing that Donald Trump is a disgrace. We cannot, folks. Listen at me. I'm not talking to you, Dice. I'm talking to podcast land. We cannot allow for a president of the United States to act like Donald Trump because it's unstatesmanlike. You understand what I'm saying? He's an embarrassment to me. You understand what I'm saying? And not only that, no, I'm being specific. He's a whoremonger. He's a liar. He's a racist. And I'm drawing these conclusions based on me watching this man for the last 4 years and based on what he's done. I don't care if he had the whole HBUC board of directors in the White House. He's still a racist, and that ain't nothing but just designed to make him look good. Same thing Percy Bland doing right here. Doing a whole bunch of shit to make himself look good, but we gonna get your ass up out of there like we got Donald Trump up out of there. Dice man, you can have the closing argument on that.
We ain't over. It's just getting started, bro. So, again, you're watching news media. You're taking the narrative they give you.
Same thing you're doing, Dice.
That's not true. I'm going to show you things that you can't argue with. Now, what I want to ask you before we go into this, is this something you want to do now, or you want to wait till Lolo is here? Because y'all keep changing it up.
I think
keep
that
coming.
I want the people out there to decide it. People, help y'all make a decision. Is this over? We need to continue this on. I don't think we need to continue it on because I'm not going to change my mind. And I mean, like all I've done is research because I have all these degrees. So I've done a lot of research, and I noticed the fallacy in your research is that you went to one news source. And
you keep saying that.
Well, tell me what news source that you went to other than...
All of it is from different news sources. I'm just saying, when you're ready to have the show and I pull up this evidence...
I mean, I could pull up... I can pull up the same thing. I can pull up every... Folks, listen to me, what I did today. I pull up every lawsuit that Donald Trump filed. I pull up all the evidence that they presented. A lot of them, they withdrew the cases themselves because it was frivolous. Every case that they're filing. Here we are saying right here, Al Jazeera. Here's Al Jazeera is saying that this Texas AG, here this man is filing lawsuit. If you got states that are racist, you have people, there's nothing that nobody, look, the guys that, what his name, Mississippi B. Man, you're a pretty good dude, but you voted for Donald Trump. Says a lot about you now. I like you now. I like the fact that you buying their chicken. But it says, to me it does. The fact that I didn't vote for him, it says a lot about me to you. It says a lot about me. And here's the thing that I want to say to all of you out there. I'm not a racist and I don't like fighting, but I'm going to keep on fighting until I don't have to fight. I'm going to be racist as long as you say, if I'm fighting for things that are wrong and you call me a racist because of that, then I'm going to be a racist. But I'm a black man first. B-Mac, I think it'll be unnatural for you to care about anybody else other than your own kind first. We got to clean up our house first before we start cleaning up our own house. And one thing I can say about Joe Biden and all these countries that I mentioned here, recognize him as being president-elect. Irregardless of what Mississippi B-Mac or Dice Man or Donald Trump and the Trump family say. Even Barr is gone.
Okay. All right. I'm going to give you an example of how it's going to go. Okay? So let's cut to this. Let's talk about Donald Trump being a racist. Matter of fact, excuse me for just a minute, people. I'm going to turn on his monitor so he can see what you guys are going to see, okay? Just a second.
I don't need to see anything Donald Trump did. I know Donald Trump's a racist because he done killed one black man and he fixing to kill 5 more people. And other 5 people Donald Trump about to kill 4 of them are black.
Again, that sounds good, but there's not a president in history.
I ain't talking about no. We talking about Donald Trump.
I'll let you finish your sentence.
I'm talking about Donald Trump.
There's not a president in history that has not had somebody who has not been executed on death row under their watch.
Now that's not true, and I'm finna rebut that right now. Right. The last 3 presidents has not killed anyone because they had a moratorium. Donald Trump is the one that removed it. So Barack Obama didn't do it, Bush 1 and 2 didn't do it, and Bill Clinton didn't do it.
Okay, I'll dispute that next week.
Yeah, you go.
You got mine, I got you.
You spoke too quick just then because Barack Obama, but they just...
From what I know, it ain't never happened.
Yeah.
Okay. All right, so...
And then we talking about killing a black man now. But
Lo,
I know you're watching out there. Google when the last time a president they did an execution in the United States.
Okay, all right. So
I'm watching that.
Let's cut to this right here.
But we ain't got to look at all. It doesn't matter whether or not Donald Trump condemned white supremacy or not, folks. You know why? Because you can look at his track record. He has never done anything really if it did not benefit Donald Trump. He doesn't have any respect for women, and he does not care for people of color. And it doesn't matter whether you're Spanish or black. He doesn't care for immigrants at all. And for him to be an immigrant, and believe it or not, like Farrakhan said, we all immigrants. The Native Americans, they living on reservations. Those are the original owners of this property. They were here.
I'm fighting for every American of every background, race, color, and creed, including Native Americans. That's why I'm here, Native Americans. That's why we're here. The last administration promised to bring hope and change to Indian country, but they cruelly abandoned you the moment they got your vote. And they went to Washington. That's what they do. By the way,
He even mentioned African American.
For 3.5 years, they treat them terribly. And then 6 months before the election, they come and they say, I'm going to give you everything. They get the vote, and then they give them nothing. And now they're shocked because we're doing great with African American. We're doing great with Hispanic American. It's gone on for 100 years. It's gone on for 100 years. Give me a vote, give me a vote. And then after the election's over, it's like, gee, I don't remember you. Let's talk in 3.5 years from now, right?
Okay, so that. Okay, make sure it's right. Okay, so that gives you a taste of how it's going to go. Now, you said that this man is racist. He don't care about other groups. That's at a rally where he was signing. I forgot what the act is. We can go look it up. Something
the Last
into
Chance
place
Act.
For
the
Native.
first step.
It was for Native Americans. I can show you a little bit more if you need it, just for proof.
I'm just gonna say that that's just dialogue, folks. That's just dialogue.
He signed the act, so
but he's also signed the thing that killed this black man last month. He's getting ready to kill 4 more before he leave. Black people that he's getting ready to kill. My life has not improved under Donald Trump administration. It has not. But however,
Joe Biden been there 47
no,
years.
No. Joe Biden is not the president of the United States. The president of the United States can sign an executive order. An executive order can make something happen immediately. But Joe Biden has been in the Senate where you're going to have a majority in order to pass a law. And Mitch McConnell, who loves Donald Trump, has a toehold on the United States Senate. Not only that, look how they push them Supreme Court justices for, well, woman right. I believe in pro-choice, a woman's right to choose whether or not she want to have a child. I believe in that. I believe in universal health care. Now, I think that if a person can't afford it, there's no reason why they should have diabetes. There's people that I know, black folk, around here in Meridian, Mississippi. Matter of fact, my brother Tubel at one time could not buy his medicine, not because Barack Obama the one started the Affordable Care Act, but it was Donald Trump who got it in court saying he can't get it. And I know that my ex-brother-in-law, who's a diabetic, cannot buy his medicine. But see, we talking about real people and real things. You can easily say you're not a racist, but Donald Trump also would not allow, had it in their paperwork under Fred Trump, his dad, that you could not rent to black folks, period, point blank. Now, that's a racist there. Now, I'm going way back.
They had black people in their building at the time that they had that lawsuit.
Yeah, they did.
And they settled that outside of court. They were never proven guilty.
What he's saying is true because they signed a consent decree. They had people there. They were janitors and not folks. It's funny. They had. I'm telling you, damn true. Telling my story. They had janitors there. But let me tell you something. They was in violation of the consent decree again, and it expired in 1985. This is what he's talking about right there. Meaning not found. If you settle out of court, I filed Bank of America. They gave me a lot of money. I sued them 2 or 3 times, but guess what? I can't talk about it. But I didn't win because I never did go to court. But how about Brian De La Beckwith? He didn't kill the 3 civil rights workers. You know why? Yes, he died in prison because he filed it on appeal. So as long as it's still litigated, so the man died while in prison, he died not ever being convicted of killing the 3 civil rights workers. So you can play with that kind of stuff, but facts are facts. Donald Trump's a racist. How many of you out there agree with me?
Again, what makes him a racist? Be specific.
Well, I just talked about one thing. Another thing is the fact that he's killing these black people. He's killing folks. He didn't have to just pick the 4 black people. He could have picked 4 or 5 white people. I think he killed 1 Native American and 1 black person the last time, and now he's getting ready to kill 5 more people before he leaves, and only 1 of them is not black.
All right, so let me ask you a question with that. Is he killing only black people in the
all I know if you kill all I know if you kill, hear what I'm not pro I'm pro-life. I'm pro-choice. I'm definitely not an advocate of the death penalty. I don't think anyone should be put to death. I just do not. I just do not.
I agree with that.
Yeah.
But if he's not only doing it just to black people, then that can't be considered him being racist.
But you got to look at that. He's finna kill 4
I
black
don't
men
like
right
it.
now.
I ain't say I like it. I say
mean
you
that-
can't consider that
I got
racist.
to consider that when you got so many. I mean, we in a minority situation here. We only constitute 13% of the total U.S. population, and the prison of the people on death row. I think most of the people on death row are white folks that are on death row, on the federal death row. But you getting ready to take 5 black people and kill them all within 1 month, and you tell me that ain't racism?
That's emotions. That's
No.
not racism.
Okay, well, he's an emotional racist then.
No, I'm talking about you.
No. Yeah, I am going to be emotional when we're dealing with our people and our children. I am.
get that.
I grant you
I'm
that. I ain't going to
passionate
get
about
away.
our people too,
Yeah, but
that don't make them racist.
the hell it don't make a racist if you can to kill 5 black people and you don't have to, and they represent a small percentage of Donald Trump. If he wasn't a racist, then show me not with all. And guess what? This thing where he having the people in the White House with the historically black colleges and universities, they say he still ain't showed them the money. At the same time, he's doing that to make himself
said
look
that?
good. Hold up. Let me finish speaking. You go Google it and find out factual information. At the same time, he's saying that he haven't brought the money. At the same time, he's saying that they decreased the amount of students that are able to get a loan or get a federal program. Donald Trump under what her name, Betsy DeVos, they decreased funding for people. Actually, only thing Donald Trump looking for is rich folks.
I got the head of the HBCUs telling you.
I seen that, but I seen that, and I went a little further than that. I went and did the research on it, and I did the research. You got to go and do the research, not what this sellout ass nigga is saying. Cause that's what he is.
So anybody who don't agree, that make him a sellout?
No. Anybody that promotes a agenda that's against their own best interest and their own best time and try to make something look good, like let me call him out, like the president of that person, because a lot of people don't agree with him. Ice Cube, I don't listen to his movies or watch his movies anymore. Lil Wayne, I used to like him a little bit. I don't like him at all now. The Dice Man, I got respect for you, but I don't care for your views when it comes to this Donald Trump thing.
That's all that is. So whoever don't agree with that, you being emotional. I'm not like that. Yeah. I'm going to go with the truth. If you present it, I got to say, okay, bro.
I just presented the truth to you. You didn't want to see it. Go look at Google it. Man, don't just start going to, what's that
now
news?
You trying to tell me where to go. The truth is the truth, bro.
That's the truth. But if you just going to one place and finding the truth.
If I find it there, do I have to go across country
yes,
and find
you got
it somewhere else?
They call that cross. They call that cross checking. No. Anybody that ever done any kind of research, you got to cross check. You got to check and recheck and check. And it's just like the scientific method. When you come up, you got to either accept or reject your null hypothesis. But when you accepting it or rejecting it, you still got to go and do your statistical research, and then you got to go out and get sources. And you can't get old sources. You got to come up and get new sources, and that's the reason why they say don't go back. But how about we, folks? What we gonna do?
Yeah, we're gonna go to a break, man.
We're gonna take a break.
Me and Eddie gonna step outside, man. We'll be back in just a minute.
But we're going to go to break, and we're going to come back, and we're going to read your comments, and then we're going to close out. But this ain't going to get us nowhere, folks. I'm going to tell you that right now.
Yes, it is. Meet me outside.
Folks, I want to thank you for listening. You know, somebody just sent it to me. They said that it's been a moratorium. And pull those comments up, Dice, man. We're going to read your comments, and we're going to close out. It says that after 16 years hiatus, that William Barr, Donald Trump, ordered him to lift the moratorium on execution. So Barack Obama didn't kill anyone, and neither did Bush. Bush probably was the one that started it under his watch. Bush 1 probably started it. You're going back 16 years. But not only that, the Dice Man and I was having a debate. He was saying, well, he was talking about the whole United States too, bro. That ain't what we talking about. We talking about Donald Trump being a racist, not the governors of these other states being a racist. We talking about Donald Trump being a racist. Donald Trump doesn't control what's going on in other states, anything like that. But he's the one, and what my argument was that he's killing 5 black people all within the span of 2 months. But there's more. Perhaps there's more. I don't know. I have to Google this, but I read it. If I ain't mistaken, you got more white folks on death row than you have black people, but you're killing more black people. If that doesn't point to racism, then nothing else does. Not only that, you got to look at that. I don't know. The only person he had in his cabinet that was black was who? Was that Omarosa, and she didn't stay there long, and she has a lot of things that say about him, and she, who probably slept with him because he's that kind of person, says that he's a racist. Says that he's a racist.
You know,
so
that's a woman's going. Come on, bro.
But my point
see
is,
what you're doing.
how is it that we can make an excuse for Donald Trump's behavior? Everything that he does, the Dice Man can make an excuse for it. But we can't make an excuse. Can we make an excuse for Percy? Can we make an excuse for Chris Reed? Can we make an excuse for the governor of Mississippi or the governor of Alabama or any other governor? Or the governor of Detroit or the governor of Pennsylvania? Folks, let me tell you why I stink, folks. Because you got Michigan, you got Pennsylvania, you got Wisconsin, and then what's the other? And Georgia. All these places being challenged are just black strongholds. If that ain't racism, there's no way. And then it's all frivolous. If that ain't racism, nothing else is.
The numbers don't even add up, bro. How is Joe Biden leading in all those places you just said after the mail-in ballots get counted, yet he ain't leading in all those other places? It don't make sense. And then when you run down the ticket, all those numbers ain't up. So we know something is up.
No, that's not true, folks. And matter of fact, I should have Googled it. I did Google it. The BBC, The Guardian, Al Jazeera said that they called it for Biden. They pointed out that Democrats it take a long time, and Donald Trump filed a lawsuit saying that they paused. This was found to be true, folks. Y'all go to factcheck.com. Go to Al Jazeera and just Google U.S. politics, and you'll find that all the things what Dice is giving is Donald Trump's argument, or the argument from Giuliano and the other people. But he's giving their argument, and that's okay. But we gotta, instead of accepting it, even my argument, folks, go and Google it for yourself.
Yeah, go check it for yourself. Because even you say on this show here, when you're talking about the racism thing, you're talking about him executing people, you always say right here, it doesn't matter if you hit somebody with a stick, just hit
me just as hard.
You say it,
and I'm saying it again. It's Donald Trump, kill them all if you want to, but damn it, don't just kill black folks. Kill white folks too, but he ain't doing that. So
that's why I asked the question. If he ain't doing it that way, you can't let
but
that
look, bruh, one person that he's getting ready to kill, Tubel, is an individual that should not have been killed, that had a minor role in the crime that was committed. And even the district attorney that prosecuted him, and 9 of the jury people saying that he should not be killed. Understand, this is one of the individuals, black, that Donald Trump is getting ready to kill. If Donald Trump killed them before June the 20th, that's a dead man. But if they don't execute him after that, Joe Biden is not he's going to probably put a moratorium on the execution, and hey, let's stop this. We haven't been doing it. Let's stop this. And all it takes is an executive order. As President of the United States, he can do that. But as a senator, he got to have a majority in order to enact law, and the bill got to be drawn and all that. And so, again.
So let me say this to you then. Let me play you for a second.
All right.
Okay.
I'm sharp now. I'm Miss Hope smartest child now. I mean, I miss Hope too, but all y'all intelligent, and my children is too. But I'm the sharpest knife in the stack. I don't know whether that's true or not. Sometimes Miss Hope say, boy, something wrong with you.
When is Joe Biden supposed to be sworn in?
On the 20th.
Okay. You just gave the date. I'm just playing you right now. You just gave the date. So technically, Joe Biden is the president-elect. So therefore, Joe Biden will be the one killing him. It won't be Trump. He'll be gone and sent off to wherever y'all want him to go.
But Donald Trump trying to kill him before then.
Yeah,
before then.
If he don't do it,
it won't happen.
Then we're going to put it on Joe.
No, it won't happen. It won't happen. It just will not happen. Guess what, people? All those countries that I mentioned, Iran, Qatar, Israel, Germany, England, France, Italy, all those countries over there, they have already met with Joe Biden, and they accept him as being president-elect. The only people that don't, the Dice Man waiting on the court thing to go, all these frivolous lawsuits, Donald Trump and his family. And, of course, what is his name, Giuliano? They say that man is mentally ill, and he is something wrong with him. He's unstable.
Well, it's just a matter of ignoring that there are other black people, especially, that have voted for Trump and that do support him, that didn't feed off of what the news media was trying to give
But
us.
nobody's
So,
saying anything but you. Ain't none of these black
well,
people
you
saying
don't know
nothing in the
everybody,
news.
but
I'm done
again, I
looking
got
at news.
proof of that. I got
Okay.
proof of that too, bro. So we just gonna
Let me
have
know so I can protest them too, because I'm protesting not you, Dice man.
We-
Dice man,
we
you
just gonna
family.
have to have that
You know
show,
what?
man.
Dice is family. We can't kick him out of the family, y'all. He
Right,
family.
Exactly.
But,
Y'all family too.
Yeah.
But let's get these comments in,
Yeah.
and to the people, I want to say this: we're having fun up here while
Yeah,
trying
we
to
are.
give you information. It's really not serious. So, I mean, the information is serious. So I won't say that right. Information is serious, but we're just having fun in this thing, hoping to get a point across.
And
That's
Lo,
what that is.
I'm glad you weren't here, because I got Dice man got tears in his eyes. You said I brought the pain today, but I
Oh,
just
boy.
kidding. You know I gotta tell my story like I tell it. I ain't got a chance to tell my story today. He got me. Yeah.
Okay, let's get these comments, man. And we're going to have to have this show. And people, I want you to put in the comments, whether in the chat or underneath the video, any questions you want me or us to answer when we really have this show. I guarantee you, I'm going to hold up my part. You see if they do the same. Okay, we got Jim Merrick says, break a leg today, do a good show. I voted for Trump, and I'm against the persecutor. I support your causes and this broadcast.
Thank you, Jim. All Trump supporters ain't bad, because a Dice man is family.
All right, Ella Franklin says, good evening, fellas, friends, and foes. Good
Hey,
evening,
Marie.
Miss Franklin. All Gas, No Brakes 81 says, good evening.
All gas, no break. What's up, lady?
Good evening. Felicia Brown says, hello, Eddie and Dice.
Hey, Miss Brown.
Hey there, Miss Brown. Loretta Bennett says, cold-blooded. Yeah. Let me go down just a little bit here.
You know when you skip they comments, man, they gonna take my head off.
No. I ain't skipping. I'm
Okay,
moving the thing
scroll
down.
down.
Loretta Bennett also says, don't forget to address the city council agenda. Don't forget to address the city council agenda.
Hey, Lo, we're going to do that Tuesday when we come back. We're going to adjust that. There's some things that I didn't talk about today. We can do that when you come Tuesday. I didn't want to take that because that's kind of like your baby, and I wanted you to handle it. But I could talk about it, but I definitely want you to talk about it and go. And I think what Lo was pointing out is the appointment to the boards and things like that. So we'll just wait, Lo. Let's just wait till Tuesday.
Okay. Jim Myrick says, right on, Dice. Back at you.
Go ahead, Jim. Big Jim.
Loretta Bennett says, Dice, what do he think about the black innocent male being executed tonight, and Trump approved of it to be done?
And this
I
is
think you just talked about
the guy we're talking about. Yeah.
Well, unfortunately, there's nothing I can do about that. That's the only answer I can give you. I'm not even familiar with that case. Okay, Loretta Bennett also says Donald Trump's lawyer have yet to show any evidence because there isn't any. Well, that's not true. And again, I have them showing some of the evidence. You got the affidavits, you got the people who have signed them under perjury, so under penalty of perjury.
And everything you're saying is true, Dice, but that evidence exists and they didn't count that. But some of those people did commit perjury and lie. And when it was time for them to show cause, and the judges, man, if this country is so corrupt that when we were still in the election and judges that was appointed by Republicans, and most Republicans have not, they're still with Donald Trump. And to answer that young lady question, the reason why they're not saying anything is because 74 million people voted for Donald Trump. Donald Trump still has a lot of power. He can help them get in office or out of office, and that's what they're afraid of. And because of that, they're being politically correct and won't do the right thing. But we cannot have a country that every time we have an election, this type of chaos happens. And this is the first time it happened, and I hope that it's the last time. And they need to put Donald Trump in jail, and anybody that obstruct the law, whether it's on a national level or local level, needs to go to jail.
Including Joe Biden, what I want you to do before we have this other show, though, because you always talk about you being a number cruncher. I want you to go crunch those numbers for Joe Biden and Trump. I want you to add it all together, and I want you to see what you come up with. Because according to the news sources that a lot of you guys like, Joe Biden had more votes than any other president in history.
Oh, that's true.
You can
And
cross
so,
those
but hold
numbers
on.
and you know
But
that
guess,
doesn't make sense. We
yes,
know
it
better.
does make sense
We know
because
better than that.
and I'm gonna tell you the reason why it does make sense.
More
folks.
than Barack Obama? Come on, bro.
Yeah, Barack Obama. But guess what? Donald Trump even got more votes than Barack Obama. He got 74 million until Biden. When this here election here, this here is for the heartbeat of our country. Man, naturally, man, when people are upset and dissatisfied with what you call the incumbent, they rise up. When it's a large turnout, the incumbent, Google it, almost always loses. And this here thing, yeah, everybody, but you got people that voted that never voted before. And what they're afraid of now, yeah, the numbers are correct. They are correct. And the Donald Trump is his own undoing. He told them not to trust, and so Republicans did not turn out for mail-in ballots, and the Democrats did. Either way, Biden won it, and I just believe. Here's what I gotta do, and you got to also. You gotta believe in the law. You gotta believe in eventually that right will prevail. You gotta believe in You gotta believe that right's gonna prevail over wrong every single time. And in this case, that's what I believe. And Dice is right in one thing he's saying. Usually when a law change or something happens, then we're the ones that always pay a high price for that. And at some point of time, that we got to stop being taken for granted. And on that note, it's the very reason why we need to vote for change on the local level right here. Because we've been taken for granted too long by white folks and black folks, Democrats and Republicans. And it's time for us to stand up now and take this city back. Now, I am a Democrat. I'm a Democrat. Too bad, don't say that. Boy, can you hear Two-Way talking, Dice, man? Boy, you, Two-Belt, don't do it. You either miss Two-Belt, but I'm a Democrat, and I'm going to run as a Democrat, and I'm going to prevail as a Democrat. It's time for us to take this city back and do exactly like the Dice man said. Hey, let's look at everybody's report card. Don't listen to what they say. Don't let them play games with our children. Don't let them patch up a hole. Where that $12 million that person? Let's hold them accountable. If they hadn't been doing right by us, let's change this system here on the local level.
Okay. Jim Myers says lots of those hearings were broadcast on Facebook Live. Yeah, that's true. He says lots of those hearings were broadcast on Facebook Live. That's true. I watched some as well as recorded.
I seen them all, Jim, and I don't know what Dice said. I don't know what Dice got his from. Dice must have got his. You know, the New Tang Dynasty, the purpose of them coming into being in 2001 was to promote, democracy in China. And China, out of the 35 countries, China is one of the countries that have banned the New Tang Dynasty. Okay, go ahead, Dice.
Okay, Shenny Fallows says there's absolutely zero evidence of fraud, period. People were fed up with Donald Trump, plain and simple. He expected to win and he lost. The postman who made claims of fraud retracted his story.
Thank you, Miss, for that most wonderful news. No, I just kidding. I knew about that.
Okay, Small Town Mississippi says you just can't argue with a Trump supporter.
You sure can't. You can't.
Well, I say you can't argue with anybody who think they're right.
Boy, the Dice man good. Woo! That was good. I love that. But you're right. You're still right, caller. That was a good comeback, Dice. You got 10 points for that. But that caller there, I'm going to get him 100.
Oh, boy, you discriminate.
Yeah, I got to. I'm a Biden supporter.
Won't be for long. Matty Turner says, talk is cheap, like Mrs. Lolo says, politicking.
Yeah. And I got to say this, is that I think the Dice man think that Biden going to get in there. We all going to be disappointed. Guess what, folks? If Biden don't do anything, I'm happy and satisfied because we got rid of the boogeyman. I'm going to call him the boogeyman.
Not what I think.
It's what you know?
I see.
What you see?
It's what I see in the future. Hold on just a second. What I see in the future, and y'all remember that I said it right here.
You sit down. Don't you move again.
I'm going to wait for him to get back so he can respond to this.
Carl, get over there and sit down. Don't y'all move again. He can call his mom if he wants to. Tell him come get him.
Okay, what we're going to see, I want you to hear this, Eddie.
Okay.
And remember I said it. I believe what I see based on the way I see them setting this thing up and the way that they played us with this Donald Trump thing. I believe with Joe Biden being in his condition,
What condition is that?
the man is, his mind is deteriorating based on what I see. Okay, but hold up. We ain't got to go into that. Listen to what I'm saying. I believe this is a setup so that Kamala Harris can end up being the president. I'm just putting it out there.
I don't agree with that, folks. And I'm gonna tell you why I don't agree with that. If I was to come up with anything, I'll say that this whole thing was designed to do exactly what they're doing. I think that Biden could have beat Donald Trump had he ran before. I think he could have. And if you're saying
You
you've
ran
been
3 times, man.
yeah. Here's what I say. We ain't talking about the 3 times. See, when people know you, there's no way he could have won back then, because the times were changing like they are now. But here's what I say. I know Lo ain't gonna like this. I say all this is behind COVID and making a lot of money. This whole thing, if you look at it, if the Bilderberg Group is true, if the Rothschilds or whoever you want to call it, the Illuminati, whatever kind of conspiracy you want to believe, that if a group of people rule everything and control the whole world, then they're getting ready to make a lot of money. Two things I do know. They're getting ready to make a lot of money off COVID, and Donald Trump is gone. Those 2 things I do know. So whether or not people manipulated that, I don't know. All I know is I'm happy because my candidate won. I was depressed 4 years ago. I didn't like the outcome, but I accepted. And Hillary didn't like it either, but she didn't do what this fool, this clown is doing, this embarrassment to anyone who has a college degree but talk like he has a 3rd grade education. Talking about dementia, go back and look at Donald Trump when he was in his 20s and 30s. He was very articulate. But listen at him speak now. Oh, we're going to really do a great job, that it's going to be really good. This is going to be wonderful. Oh, but Joe Biden, who you can ask him any question, go back and look at anything, anytime he's going to interview, he doesn't have the teleprompter there. He's speaking from his heart and he's answering questions, and he does not stumble. He does not do any of the things that he was doing when he was reading the teleprompter when he was having his debate.
Oh, boy. Do I have to go into another video? No, I'm gonna wait for the show. Wait for the show. Okay, let's move on so the people can get out of here too. Loretta Bennett says, Dice, the thing is, Trump killing these people before he leave office on death row. Okay, we already talked.
And that's really bad, because he really is a lame duck and shouldn't do anything but enjoy those last few days.
Okay, Jim Myers says Dela Beckwith was charged with killing Medgar Evers, not the civil rights.
That's right. That's right. Thank you, Jim. I tell you, I speak too fast sometimes. It wasn't Dela Beckwith. I forgot his name. That killed the 3 civil rights workers, but he went to jail. But Dela Beckwith, he was still appealing it when he died.
Mm-hmm. You talking about the guy from Mississippi Burning? I got the
movie.
Yeah. Okay. Shenny Fallow says Trump called armed white protesters who were protesting the COVID shutdown fine people, but he called black protesters thugs. That's absolutely not true.
I heard my own self.
I have the full clip to show you.
A full edited clip is what
No, not edited.
Did you create it or somebody created it for you? Did you go out there and take that video yourself?
Come on, bro. Stop being facetious.
I'm not being facetious. I'm pointing out to him that people are going to present their argument in a way they want to win an argument. They'll do so with video and they'll do so with audio, and they just do so. It's just like cherry picking the Bible or anything else that you want to present.
So with that, I challenge you guys before the show, because I'm going to show it during the show. Remember you said this.
Yeah.
I'm going to show the full video, and you'll see that was edited by the news media that you follow.
But one thing that we do know is that these people promote Donald Trump. These people here are racist. These people actually want to kill us, you and I.
That's not true.
Shoot, then they out there armed, and I don't know. Let's just go on.
All right, let's move on.
We agree to disagree.
Okay, Dolores Holt deleted that comment. Let's go down. We almost there, people. We coming. Dolores Holt said Colin Powell, and retired 4-star general and Republican, said he could not vote for or support Trump. Okay, that's his choice.
And those are Republicans. Man, Dolores, you saw him got smart at you, Tony. If he'd got smart with you like that, you would have cut him.
It would have been over with.
Todd ain't going. The Lord, come on back with a clever comment. You heard Dice said that's his choice.
Okay. Loretta Bennett also says, Dice, you have yet to mention anything Trump done to benefit you. No, that's not true. I said it right here on the show. The HBCU thing. Again, it was a carryover from other presidents, but
Now,
he extended
can you give us something else?
He moved the head office into to the White House.
Wow.
Okay. All right. Loretta Bennett also says Trump have Uncle Tom Ben Carson who ain't Jack. Okay. So she was talking about somebody black who he has.
Ben Carson used to be something. He's a doctor.
Mm-hmm.
And he did things that was anti-community and anti-poor folks and black folks. As I think he's over housing or something with Donald Trump's department. But Ben Carson is gone too. It's one good thing is all these people that are, in my opinion, not. You don't have the most qualified individuals in the White House doing those jobs. And so that's one problem with this administration, and I'm glad that's over.
Okay. That's it.
Folks, I want to thank y'all for listening. Dice, man, you're go on get your shot out. Go on get it out. Anything you want to say. Folks, I got to say this and this is real good. I'm going to read a couple of things, and then we're going to close out. Let me find it now. Dice, anything you want to say to the people before we close out?
Oh, just shout out to everybody. We really appreciate you guys tuning in. Shout out to Michael Moore, Brother Bell, Kim Franklin, Elena Marie Davis, Tristan B. Hampton. All you guys who constantly support this channel, I really appreciate it. And y'all stay tuned. Remember, if you got anything for me, put it in the comments.
Yeah, and the same here. Yeah, because we look at it and we hope you can leave your comments of factual information. And people done said things to me that they didn't like what I was saying and thought I had lost my mind, and that's okay. I just rebutted what they said. If they think one thing about me and I give an opposing point of view, and if they still feel like that, let's go. We ain't gonna go back and forth. But I wanted to say this, is that I did get a inbox from a person, and I want to say this to Ms. Donald, is that I did get an inbox from a person talking about them not receiving their money and you're not communicating with them. And I just want to say this to you, Ms. Donald, that if you're able, I know it's Christmas time and everything, this person understand that, but what the person don't understand is you're not contacting them. And I had a couple other people's also, family members contacted me and told me that they had lost money in this also. And one of the person told them, just contact me and we'll see what we can do. We want you to get your money back. But I understand that Ms. Donald done gave a lot of people their money back, and people that she didn't collect money from. But I want to say this to Ms. Donald: if you're communicating with this person, you know who this person are, please get that person a call back and do all y'all can. Y'all can make arrangements so that she can get her money back. And y'all stay away from things. Oftentimes when people say you're getting something for nothing, that's just cannot be true. If it's too good to be true, chances are it is. I want to say this, is that I read these comments, and I'm going to do Abraham Lincoln quote. And also, I was watching a movie, so I thought it was pretty good because it's so true. So I'm going to read both of these, and I'm going to read Abraham Lincoln quote last, and then I'm going to close out. Inside, and this is what I wrote down from the movie. Inside every person there are two bears. One bears all things good, such as compassion, love, and trust. The other bear all things evil, such as fear, shame, and self-destruction. You may ask yourself which one wins, and the answer to that is the one that you feed. So remember that, folks. If you feed it into something, and I'm going to break it down for you, if you feed the bear where all things are good, then you're going to always see things from a positive perspective. If you feed the bear where all things are bad, then that's fear, shame, and self-destruction, and there's no growth or no productivity in that. Now I'm going to close out with Abraham Lincoln quote. And he said this at the end of the Civil War. He said, when the shepherd drives the wolf from the sheep's throat, the sheep thanks the shepherd as the liberator. I'll say it again. When the shepherd drives the wolf from the sheep's throat, the sheep thanks the shepherd as the liberator, or his liberator, while the wolf denounces the shepherd as a destroyer of liberty. especially as the sheep was a black one. That's what Abraham Lincoln said. So you understand, when the wolf got the sheep by the throat, he's going to eat. And when the shepherd interfere with that and liberate the sheep, then the sheep, black folks, look at the shepherd as his liberator. While the wolf, and that's anybody oppressor, the wolf going to look at it as somebody interfering with their liberties and their rights. Kind of like how the United States is right now. Kind of like how this administration is. All I say is this, is that we all need to find a way to get along and meet a common ground and honest conversation. I want to thank y'all for listening. Y'all have a safe weekend. Dice Man, take us home.